Marcus Williams wiped the sweat from his forehead as he stared at the eviction notice, taped to his apartment door. 3 days. That's all he had left before his 8-year-old daughter Emma would have nowhere to call home. His hands trembled as he crumpled the paper, shoving it deep into his janitor's uniform pocket where Emma couldn't see it. When she got home from school, some days, being strong felt like drowning while everyone watched from the shore. The fluorescent lights of Henderson Tech's corporate headquarters buzzed overhead as Marcus pushed his cleaning cart down the marble hallway. At 42, he'd been working 3 jobs just to keep food on the table since his wife Sarah died in a car accident 2 years ago. The life insurance money had disappeared into medical bills, and now he was barely staying afloat. But Emma didn't need to know that her daddy cried himself to sleep most nights, wondering how he'd failed so completely at the one job that mattered most. Tonight was different, though. Tonight, Marcus had something that felt dangerously close to hope. His sister Jana had set him up on a blind date with her friend's cousin. She's perfect for you. Marcus, sweet, understanding, loves kids. He'd been reluctant, but Jana insisted. You deserve happiness too, she'd said. Sarah would want you to find love again. Marcus had arranged to meet his date at Bella Vista, an upscale Italian restaurant downtown. He'd borrowed a button-down shirt from his neighbor and spent his last $20 on a small bouquet of daisies, Emma's favorite flowers, and the only ones he could afford. As he walked toward the restaurant after his shift, still in his work clothes because he didn't have time to go home and change, he felt that familiar knot of anxiety in his stomach. What if she took one look at him and left? What if she judged him for being just a janitor? The hostess at Bella Vista looked him up and down with barely concealed disdain. Table for one? She asked, her voice dripping with condescension. Actually, I'm meeting someone. The reservation should be under Jennifer Martinez. She checked her book with exaggerated reluctance. Right this way. Marcus followed her to a corner table where a woman with shoulder-length brown hair sat checking her phone. She was beautiful, more beautiful than he'd expected, wearing an elegant black dress that probably cost more than his monthly grocery budget. As he approached, she looked up with an expression that cycled rapidly through confusion, disappointment, and what looked like barely contained horror. Excuse me, she said, her voice crisp and professional. I think there's been some mistake. Marcus felt his heart sink to his shoes. Of course there was a mistake. Of course someone like her wouldn't want to be seen with someone like him. I'm sorry. He stammered. I'm Marcus. Jana Martinez said she arranged. I'm not Jennifer Martinez, the woman interrupted. I'm Victoria Chen, and I'm supposed to be meeting a potential business partner here. She gestured to his uniform. You're obviously not Richard Sterling, from Sterling Industries. The pieces clicked into place with painful clarity. Wrong table, wrong person, wrong life. Marcus felt his cheeks burn with embarrassment. I'm so sorry. I'll just wait. Victoria's voice softened slightly as she noticed the wilted daisies in his hand and the genuine distress on his face. Something in her expression shifted. You said Jana Martinez set you up, my sister. She works at the community center with Jennifer Martinez's friend. I was supposed to meet Jennifer's cousin here for a blind date, but I guess I got the wrong table. He gestured helplessly. I should go. I'm sorry for bothering you. Victoria studied him for a long moment. As the CEO of Chen Technologies, she was used to making snap judgments about people. But something about this man's genuine embarrassment, the careful way he held those modest flowers, the exhaustion etched in the lines around his eyes, made her pause. What's your last name? Williams. Marcus Williams. She pulled out her phone and made a quick call. Jana, this is Victoria Chen. Did you set up your brother Marcus with someone tonight? A pause. At Romano's on 5th Street, not Bella Vista? Another pause, longer this time. I see. No, he's here with me. We had a misunderstanding. Marcus watched in confusion as Victoria ended the call. Your sister got the restaurants mixed up. Your actual date is waiting for you at Romano's, about 6 blocks from here. She's been there for an hour. The humiliation was complete now. Not only had he crashed this woman's business dinner, but his real date was probably furious or gone by now. I should go apologize to her, he said quietly. Sit down first. Victoria's voice carried the authority of someone used to being obeyed. Please. Against his better judgment, Marcus sat on the edge of the chair across from her. Victoria signaled the waiter and ordered 2 cups of coffee. Tell me about yourself. Marcus Williams, Mom. You really don't need to. I'm not being polite. I'm curious. She leaned back in her chair. studying him with the same intensity she brought to board meetings. "You work at Henderson Tech, don't you? I've seen you there." Marcus blinked in surprise. Victoria Chen was the CEO of Chen Technologies, Henderson Tech's biggest competitor. What was she doing having dinner in the same building where he emptied trash cans? "Yes, ma'am. I'm on the night cleaning crew. And you have a daughter. How did you? Your phone background. I saw it when you were checking the time." Victoria had indeed noticed the photo of a young girl with pigtails and a gap-toothed smile. "What's her name?" "Emma. She's 8. Marcus's whole demeanor changed when he talked about his daughter. The exhaustion lifted from his shoulders, replaced by a warmth that transformed his face. "She's the smartest kid in her class, wants to be a scientist when she grows up. She's always asking me questions I can't answer about how things work." "What kind of questions?" Marcus found himself relaxing despite the surreal situation. Last week she wanted to know why soap bubbles are round. Before that, it was why the sky is blue. "I do my best." But he shrugged. "I never finished high school. Dropped out when Sarah got pregnant with Emma. I keep meaning to get my GED, but between work and Emma, there's never time." Victoria listened without judgment, asking follow-up questions that showed genuine interest. She learned about Sarah's death, about Marcus's 3 jobs, about how he read Emma bedtime stories every night even when he was so tired he could barely keep his eyes open. She learned about Emma's love of science experiments and her dream of going to college someday. "And what about your dreams?" Victoria asked. Marcus laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "Dreams are for people who can afford them. I just want to make sure Emma has better opportunities than I did." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of a tall man in an expensive suit. "Victoria, sorry I'm late. Traffic was murder." He stopped short when he saw Marcus. "I didn't realize you had company." "Richard Sterling. Meet Marcus Williams." "Marcus. This is the business partner I was supposed to meet." Richard barely acknowledged Marcus, his gaze lingering disapprovingly on the janitor's uniform. "Should we move to a private table?" Victoria's expression hardened. "Actually, Marcus was just leaving. He has somewhere important to be." She turned to Marcus. "Go to Romano's. Jennifer's cousin is still waiting for you." "How do you know?" Victoria held up her phone. "I called and asked them to let her know you were delayed, but on your way." Marcus stood up, clutching his daisies. "Thank you. I don't know why you did that, but thank you. Good luck, Marcus." As Marcus hurried toward the door, he heard Richard's voice behind him. "Really, Victoria? What were you thinking, entertaining the help like that?" Victoria's response was ice cold. "I was thinking that some people understand what real character looks like." Marcus's date at Romano's went better than expected. Jennifer's cousin, Maria, was a kindergarten teacher with kind eyes and a warm laugh. She didn't seem to mind his uniform or his lateness, and she listened with genuine interest when he talked about Emma. They made plans to meet again the following weekend, but as Marcus walked home that night, he found himself thinking, not about Maria, but about Victoria Chen. There had been something in her eyes when she looked at him, not pity, but recognition, as if she saw something in him that he'd forgotten was there. The next morning brought new worries. Emma woke up with a fever, and Marcus had to call in sick to his day job at the grocery store to take her to the clinic. The doctor's visit and medication ate up money he didn't have, and Emma needed to stay home from school for the rest of the week. By Thursday, Marcus was desperate. He'd missed 3 days of work and was behind on every bill. The eviction notice seemed to mock him from the kitchen counter where he'd finally shown it to Emma. She'd cried, not because she was scared, but because she was worried about him. "Daddy, I can get a job," she'd said seriously. "I'm 8. That's old enough to help." It nearly broke his heart. Friday night, Marcus was finishing his shift at Henderson Tech when he noticed something unusual. There was a light on in the executive conference room, the one reserved for the board of directors. As he approached to clean it, he could hear voices inside, loud, angry voices. "Unacceptable losses in the 4th quarter. Need to make cuts somewhere. Janitorial services would save us hundreds of thousands." Marcus froze. They were talking about outsourcing the cleaning crew. His job, his main source of income, was about to disappear. He stood in the hallway, paralyzed by the implications. "Wit,